In an epic clash between a legendary hero and the wicked corpse god necromancer, the outcome takes a startling turn. In their climactic confrontation, the corpse god unveils an unexpected magic. Transcending time and realms, the necromancer is reborn in the body of a young boy named Polka Shinoyama, thrusting him into a modern-day Tokyo. Bound by a mysterious connection, Polka and the necromancer find themselves entangled in a web of enigma, delving into the boy's past and unearthing secrets that intertwine with their own. Before we get started on the best death play anime, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The Calamity Crusher, Shagrua Lugrid, leads a group of warriors into the stronghold of the dreadful necromancer known as the Corpse God for a final fight to restore peace to the land. The battlefield is set, and tension fills the air as the Corpse God mercilessly dispatches soldiers, their blood spilling like fountains. But fear not, for our valiant hero stands strong, defending all those in harm's way. Both combatants possess a remarkable ability called the Evil Eye, enabling them to see the souls of those they have slain. However, while the Corpse God manipulates these souls to fight for their own twisted cause, Shagrua resists their curse and fights valiantly for the sake of humanity. Interestingly, we discover that most people blessed with the Evil Eye prefer to seek solace in churches, perhaps seeking redemption for their grim powers. With swords gleaming and muscles flexing, Shagrua charges forward, ready to deliver the final blow. But just as he's about to land his epic strike, the Corpse God pulls off a sneaky move and casts a brand new, mind-boggling spell. And boom, just like that, the scene flips like a pancake, transporting us to modern-day Shinjuku, Tokyo. The outcome of this clash remains shrouded in uncertainty. What a cliffhanger! Yaoi finds himself in an alleyway, and a groggy white-haired boy named Polka Shinoyama wakes up with a cutthroat. As he stumbles through the unfamiliar modern world, he witnesses people happily engrossed in their smartphones, leaving him utterly bewildered. Caught by the police, Polka realizes that his new body allows him to access information from its previous owner. He manages to utter his name in Japanese before a mysterious girl comes to his rescue. At first, we suspect a classic plot twist where she turns out to be his enemy, but the reality is even more chilling. Meet Misaki Sakimiya, a psychotic and sadistic killer armed with a crowbar who takes pleasure in ending lives. She has previously slain Polka and is hell-bent on repeating the deed. Thus begins a heart-pounding chase, with Polka struggling to adapt to his unfamiliar body. In a stroke of sheer luck, he stumbles upon a room where he discovers a power within himself, the Evil Eye. With an abundance of magical energy lingering in a place stained by countless deaths, Polka unwittingly unleashes a formidable force, summoning a colossal skeletal hand that obliterates Misaki in a single bone-crushing blow. That escalated quickly. The scene then switches back to the other world as the dust settles. Shagrua emerges victorious from his battle, but a sense of unease lingers. The Corpse God soul seems to have vanished a tad too quickly, leaving Shagrua in doubt. Sneaky, sneaky! His loyal companions assure him that he has saved the world, but his instincts tell him that the nefarious necromancer may not have truly met his demise. There's always a catch, isn't there? The Corpse God's mind drifts back to his previous existence as a notorious necromancer. He reminisces about the empire that exploited his talents, a really dysfunctional place if you ask him. The enigmatic Corpse God longed for peace in a world consumed by strife and turmoil. Tired of the constant battles and violence, he hatched a plan to find a warrior capable of slaying him, hoping it would finally bring the tranquility he so desired. Through his secret art of reincarnation, he was reborn in the modern world as the unsuspecting Polka Shinoyama, clueless about the strange events unfolding around him. Meanwhile, poor Polka is in for a rude awakening when he realizes that his actions actually resulted in Misaki's demise. Who knew there were no magical healers or handy recovery potions in this world? As Polka stared at Misaki's lifeless body, panic surged through him. He never expected a mere stab wound to end her existence. Running away was not an option, for he knew that the authorities would soon launch a manhunt, shattering his dreams of a peaceful life. Misaki had a tragic past, witnessing the brutal murder of her parents at a young age. The boy trauma shaped her into a deranged killer feared by all. Revenge was on the menu, and boy did she serve it up. But then Misaki decides to jump off a roof, feeling utterly lost until Takumi drops a bombshell. Polka is not as dead as she thought. Cue the jaw-dropping disbelief. And just like that, she's determined to finish the job she started. Misaki's attempt to murder Polka led to her own demise at his hands. In an unexpected twist, Polka revives Misaki as a peculiar kind of zombie, As Misaki opens her eyes, she finds herself surrounded by Lisa and her armed men. Polka, far from finished, put Misaki back to sleep to fully heal her. Despite Lisa's skepticism, Polka warns her men that he can effortlessly eliminate them all if he chooses to. At that moment, Takumi shares a video of a nearby building engulfed in flames, with innocent children trapped inside. Surprising everyone, Polka offers his help. With a flick of his magical wrist, he swoops into the burning building and rescues the trapped children. Guided by the souls of the deceased parent, news of skeletal hands flying around spreads like wildfire in social media. Talk about an attention-grabbing rescue. Takumi, scrolling through the visuals on Twitter, torn by Polka's contradictory actions, can't figure out his true intentions. Is Polka a hero or a monster? Still searching for his purpose in this topsy-turvy world, Polka decides to team up with Lisa once Misaki finally wakes up. Life sure takes some strange turns when you're grappling with the supernatural. But hey, it beats being bored, right? After being revived, Misaki discovers the news about the ghostly figures captured on video during the orphanage fire rescue by Polka. Takumi, with a mix of curiosity and concern, wonders if Misaki is okay being around the person who killed her. Surprisingly, Misaki finds the whole situation thrilling. Well, she's a deranged serial killer who was on these gems are. As they make their way back from the gem store, they stumble upon Arase, who happens to catch sight of Takumi's drone. Meanwhile, Iwanomi pays a visit to Lisa's spa for some investigation. He questions her about any potential involvement her organization may have in the recent string of incidents. Lisa, with her calm demeanor, leaves Iwanomi with more questions than answers. Arase warns Polka against meddling in unfamiliar matters, but the determined corpse god stands his ground. He boldly asks for his drone back, claiming it belongs to his dear friend. Arase, intrigued by Polka's confidence, can't help but wonder who this enigmatic figure truly is. Takumi makes a phone call, reassuring him that they're just harmless gaming partners, unrelated to any shady business at Lisa's bar. But Arase, determined to uncover the truth, promises to investigate further, also revealing Takumi's past betrayal when his life was on the line. Yet, Polka remains unfazed by the revelation. Misaki, ever the sharp-witted one, slips into his blind spot while he's distracted. This opens a door for her to retaliate with a superpowered kick to his chest. This entire spectacle unfolds before Takumi's drone cameras. A police officer throwing the first punch at a high school girl is not something they want to be leaked to the media. Misaki skillfully escapes with Polka, claiming she feared for her life. Later, Takumi expresses his gratitude to Polka for standing up for him. He confesses that what Arase said is true. He's willing to reveal anyone's secret if his own life is at stake. But Polka's response is simple yet profound. He values his friend's life more than any secret. Back at the police station, Arase directs his colleague to examine the imprint left on his abdomen by Misaki's powerful kick. Ouch! The investigation takes an intriguing turn as they uncover a series of peculiar cases linked to that very footprint. Meanwhile, at the bar, a slightly intoxicated Iwanomi continues his quest for answers. While investigating under the influence may not be ideal, fate has a knack for bringing unexpected individuals together. Misaki and Polka enter the bar. Iwanomi extends an invitation, offering them a glass of orange juice. There's an undeniable sense of suspicion lingering in the air. And just when things couldn't get any more interesting, Arase makes a sudden appearance. Suddenly, the power goes out, plunging the bar into darkness. A masked figure emerges. With these new characters entering the scene, tension fills the air as they insinuate formidable threats that can match Polka in combat, hinting at an impending showdown between Polka and the enigmatic lemmings. Are these new criminals a threat to the corpse god's vision of a peaceful world? We will find out soon enough in the next episode. And until then, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.